In this video, we're going to take a look at how different materials can either be positively or negatively charged. And specifically, we're going to look at something called the Triboelectric Series and see how we can use this to figure out what charges different materials might take. So, how do we know what charge a material is going to take? Like, how do we know whether it will be negatively charged or positively charged? What we kind of need in order to be able to figure that out is we need something called electron affinity. So, what is electron affinity? Well, it's how likely is a material to be able to hold on to its electrons. So if something has a high electron affinity, it means that it's going to hold on to its electrons fairly tightly. And so that means it's going to attract electrons. And if there's more electrons, it's going to become negatively charged. If something, on the other hand, has a low electron affinity, it will more easily give up its electrons. So if it gives up electrons, it's more likely to become a positively charged object. So for example, if we have two objects, steel and silk, and say we rub the silk on the steel in order to create a static charge by friction. Well, steel can hold on to electrons very well, whereas silk will easily give up those electrons. So we would say that steel has a high electron affinity, and so it is likely to have a negative charge. Whereas the silk has a low electron affinity, and so it will take on a positive charge when we rub these two items together. Now, it depends what two items we're rubbing together in order to figure out which one has what charge. So this is where the Triboelectric Series comes into play. Now, the Triboelectric Series is a list of materials. So you can see all the materials listed here. These are just some, but gives you a sense of all of the different types of materials. And it puts them in order of those materials that tend to lose electrons are up at the top. So remember, if they tend to lose electrons, it means they have a low electron affinity. And so if they have a low electron affinity, it means that they are going to be more likely to be positively charged. And then it lists them all the way going down, all the way to down here. Teflon is our object that tends to gain electrons the most, or these are the ones that have high electron affinity. These are the ones that tend to take a negative charge. So you can compare two objects together to see which one is on the side with low electron affinity or is going to be your positively charged object, and which one's going to be on the other side and going to take on the negative charge. So for example, we could just take aluminum and we could take polyester. And if we were to rub those two objects together, the aluminum would take the positive charge and polyester would take the negative charge. So if we go back to our example of looking at rubbing a balloon on our hair, we can now determine what charge is going to be what. First, we need to locate the hair and we need to locate the balloon on our Triboelectric series. So if we go down our list here, we have human hair right up here. And then if we keep kind of scanning down, well, we don't have balloon, but balloon is made out of rubber. So we're going to highlight the rubber here. Okay. And from here now, we can see that the human hair is closer to the top, so it will take the positive charge. And the rubber is lower down, so it's going to take the negative charge. Okay, and that's how we get the positive charge left on the hair and the negative charge left on the balloon. That's it for this video then. Let's move on to our next task.